I am Tara Alemany, and I am the founder of Emerald Lake Books, and I'm coming to you from somewhat sunny Sherman, Connecticut. It's cloudy as well as sunny, so it's kind of odd right now, but the sun is trying to do its thing. So today I am going to be talking to you about getting to know your sell sheet. And for many people who are listening in, perhaps you've not heard of a sell sheet before, so we're going to talk about what it is, how to make one, and how to use it. So let's start first with just kind of an introduction to what is a sell sheet. Well, it's usually a one-page flyer. It can be front and back or just front, whichever you prefer, that contains information that's specific to your book. And it's a piece of marketing material that you can send as a PDF or print out and send in printed correspondence to retailers who might be interested in purchasing your book. So it needs to tell them certain things about the book, like it's going to give them an idea of what your cover looks like, what the book is about, who the intended audience is, a bunch of different things. So I'm going to show you some examples a little bit later in this, but right now I'm going to walk through some of the components of the sell sheet. And the idea here is that this is something that you can use to reach out to librarians, booksellers, bulk buyers for retailers, a bunch of different individuals, and you use it as a means of marketing your book for wholesale opportunities. So this is something that, for instance, if my friend Brian Judd was on here, he would talk about using your sell sheet in order to be able to demonstrate to a corporation the relevance of your book to their intended audience, because he focuses on non-bookstore sales. But anyway, what we're going to look at right now is some of the components that go into a sell sheet. And typically, these are the parts that you're going to see in most sell sheets. You're going to see, first of all, a book image or description of the book. Sometimes you'll have an author image, but at the very least, you're going to have a very brief author bio. They want to know something about who wrote the book. All of the metadata that you typically would put in a book listing when you put it online, you're also going to include in this sell sheet. So things like the trim size, the page count, the cost. You're also going to include things like where you can purchase it. Now, keep in mind, most retailers, especially bookstores, are not going to want to purchase something from Amazon, which is their competition. So you want to make sure that you're including non-Amazon locations or distributors that they can purchase from. So if you're using Ingram Spark, for instance, to be able to distribute your book, you want to reference the fact that it's there. If it's available on Overdrive, which is what a lot of libraries like to use, you want to make sure that that's noted as well. So these are different aspects of the metadata that you want to make sure that are on there, but you also want to talk about what genre it fits in. You want to give the ISBNs of the various formats so that they're aware of what their options are in purchasing the book. We also recommend that you include, if you've received any stellar reviews, and I'm talking about, typically we're talking about editorial reviews, but I'm going to show you a unique and interesting way to use some consumer reviews as well. If you've won any awards, those are all things that you're going to want to include on this sheet as well. And for many retailers, librarians, it's helpful if you can include a marketing plan that's going to demonstrate how you're going to help drive traffic into their retail location in order to purchase it. So for instance, one of our authors wanted to get his book, Stress-Free Chicken Tractor Plans, into places like Tractor Supply and Agway, which is a feed store and feed barn. And so he included his marketing information in his sell sheet so that they would know what he was doing in order to drive traffic to their stores so that people would buy the book there. So that's kind of some of the ideas of how you can include a bit of marketing information in the sell sheet. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show you some samples, and I'm going to start off with the first one is one that I actually have swiped from Amy Collins from New Shelves. This is one that she will often share with people when she's talking about sell sheets, and I am going to zoom in a bit so that you can see it better, hopefully. And so how do I do that? Let me go back to this. And so as I zoom in, you're going to see that you have, your title, your subtitle. You're going to have the author name. Your book description goes in here and about the author. And so it's just, a very brief, it's not a full bio, but just a few sentences to say who you are and what you're about. You're going to include your cover title, as well as ISBN information, page count, trim size, your formats of your book. So you see all the things that I've discussed in so far are here. She has a very extensive marketing plan as examples of what you might include in your marketing plan. But you'll also see as part of the metadata, you have price, the publishing date, the subject, the publisher, when the book is available or where it's available from, as well as any sales and PR and marketing contacts. You also want to make sure that the publisher information is noted, because typically the publisher is who retailers and libraries are going to reach out to if they want to do bulk sales. But if you're self-publishing, of course, that would be you. Here's another example of one that we did very early on for one of our authors. This is just a one-side front page. And so it's fairly simple in the sense of what content is here, but you'll see we did a lot with including cover elements and design elements from the book into the spreadsheet, into the sell sheet, so that it's very branded. So this particular one is the Life and Times of the Great Danbury State Fair. And so our header echoes what they see on the cover image. We have the back cover copy, the blurb, as the book description. We have an author photo with a couple of paragraphs about the author down at the bottom here, and then how the metadata that we want them to have. So for instance, the trim size, page count, this particular book being a historical book, the black and white photos that are in there are very, very significant to conveying the story. So we made sure to note that. The other thing is we did a very beautiful hardcover edition of this book that includes gold foil stamping on both the front and the spine. We have custom end papers in it, and so this was a very high-end print job that was done. So we want to make sure that additional things, little extras like that, are noted, so that people can make that decision in terms of what format they want to have. We also have, how to reach out to us if you're interested in purchasing copies. Let's give another example. This is a more recent book that we've done. And in this instance, with Bruce Ballister's Welcome to the Zipper Club, once again, we have our cover image. We have the title and heading, subtitle. We have the back cover description that we're using as copy. This time we included an endorsement from somebody, one of the testimonials that was significant to the book. And once again, we get into all of the metadata. So you see there's a consistent pattern here that we're doing. Variation, here's one for a fiction book, because the same thing is going to apply whether or not you're writing for fiction or nonfiction books. We want to make sure that we have the cover image, that your design, if you're going to design it, is going to echo the book itself. We have the book description. Here we also indicate, who this is for fans of. So if a librarian or retailer isn't really certain where on the shelf this belongs to or what authors types of books this is comparable to, having these comparable authors here helps them make that decision. But this particular sell sheet has a page 2. And this one has a page 2 because we got a very good reader's favorite review, which is a editorial review. But in doing that, we also had some really great reader reviews that were posted on review sites like Amazon and Goodreads and BookBub. And so we snagged some of those and included those in here, along with marketing information and genre information. So you'll see down at the bottom, we have the BSAC codes as well. I'm sorry, the toolbar is hiding over it. Give it a moment and hopefully it'll go away. Yes, so you'll see that the BSAC codes are down at the bottom of the thing. So we have that goes in young adult fiction, fantasy general, and as well as fiction, fantasy, action, adventure. So it gives the buyer an idea of where this fits into their bookshelves. Final one that I'm going to show is my own book, where we did something similar, but because we didn't have quite enough information to fill out the back page, this was done before more reviews came in and before I had won the award that I won for it. What we did is we took the 5-star review that we received from Reader's Favorite, and we used one of the design elements from the cover of the book just to accentuate this. Now keep in mind, the whole thing about this is a way to market your book. And so the impression that you give in the quality of what you've put together is going to be part of the overall impression that you give the book. But it is perfectly okay to keep this plain and simple and clean, like the first example that I showed you. That first example with Amy Collins, where it's just A Word document. It's very straightforward, very easy to make. You create a 2-column table essentially, and you give one column the boundary that gives this the nice border to it, and the rest of it is just regular straightforward text. It does not have to be as designed as ours are. Mark would be embarrassed if we sent anything out that wasn't professionally designed, though. So that's uh, a hat tip to him to make sure that we have that set up in a way that he's comfortable with. But those are examples, and hopefully, it gives you some ideas of what you might be doing with your own sell sheet and ways that you can put together information regarding your book that makes it easy for you to reach out to retailers and libraries and other associations with information about your book in the hopes for building up wholesale opportunities for it. If you need any help in designing your own sell sheet, of course, we'd be happy to help you with that as well. You can reach out to us on emeraldlakebooks.com or elbks.com. Either one works. They are, it's a shortened URL for us. And next week, I am open to suggestions. I had some ideas, but given everything that's going on in the world right now, I would much prefer answering what questions you have. So if there's anything in particular that you would like me to cover, please let me know. Please comment on this post, and I will be sure to add that to our upcoming episodes. I am hoping to reach out to more friends of mine to do more interview styles like we've done the last couple of weeks. I've had a lot of great feedback on that from folks who have listened in. But in the meantime, what I think next week's topic will be is what formats should my book be in? And one of the reasons that I wanted to touch on that early on is the fact that we see many authors shortchange themselves by only providing their book in one or two formats. And you have content, if it's good content, if it's selling, making it available in multiple formats simply provides additional sales opportunities for you. So if I don't get any suggestions for what else to discuss next week, that will be the topic that we cover. But in the meantime, I do hope that you'll leave a comment and any questions that you have, because that's the whole purpose of this show, is to be able to answer your questions and help guide you through your own writing journey. So in the meantime, be safe, be well, wash your hands, keep your distance, but know that we're here for you and we're all in this together. So I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.